Harvard's prestige stems from its history. It's 140 years older than the United States itself, and 8 presidents have studied here in Greater Boston. On Wednesday, though, the current president labelled Harvard a joke, days after it forcefully rejected demands from his White House, something that prompted protests on campus.
Will you stand up for democracy?
The administration says it's pausing $2.2 billion in funding to Harvard after it refused to reduce the power of students and staff, report foreign students who violate the code of conduct, and bring in auditors to ensure Harvard is viewpoint diverse. One of the administration's arguments for those demands is that universities across the nation freely allowed anti-Semitism on campuses last year during widespread protests over the war in Gaza.
Jewish American students, or students of any faith, should not be illegally harassed and targeted on our nation's college campuses.
Harvard says it has implemented protections for Jewish students and that halting funding violates the Constitution. And law professor David Super from Georgetown University in Washington agrees.
Harvard's clearly correct. The administration's demands have no authorization in law and will not stand.
Professor Super says that under the First Amendment, which protects free speech, the government can't simply take money away just because it disagrees with a university. He says Harvard has every right to maintain its tax-exempt status, despite reported attempts to remove it.
There's no evidence that I've seen, no evidence the administration has put out there that Harvard doesn't qualify for tax-exempt status.
Numerous other universities have been targeted in recent months. Here in New York, Columbia University gave in to many of the administration's demands last month when it threatened to pull $400 million in funding. It was a decision that reportedly stunned both staff and students. The government has also cancelled more than 900 student visas after those students reportedly took part in campus protests last summer. Students say they're now fearful of being detained or losing their visas after multiple videos surfaced showing individuals being stopped and apprehended on or near university campuses. Those fears are prompting some prospective international students and academics to choose non-US institutions for their future studies. A reported 11% drop in enrolment will have a significant impact on the almost $44 billion foreign students contribute to the US economy each year. Even so, political scientist Tabitha Bonilla from Northwestern University suggests that the Trump administration may consider its approach successful, even if it doesn't prevail in every court battle.
They don't have to be successful in everything that they're doing with universities because they're already moving things to closer to where they want them to be. They're already attacking the very structure of universities. They're already creating environments where faculty and students are scared to say certain things and talk. And so even if Harvard doesn't capitulate, they still have shifted the environment of what it means to be on a college campus.
Moving forward, Professor Super expects Harvard to win its fight for funding in the courts, something likely to infuriate President Trump.
The administration might have been able to get some of this done if it had moved more discreetly, but its demands were so extreme and its complaints are so clearly about Harvard's First Amendment conduct that I don't think any judge will have much trouble in joining what the administration is doing.
Free speech or hate speech? The battle over higher education is likely to be decided in the courts, with critics saying the Trump administration is simply trying to teach liberal institutions a lesson. Mitch McCann, CNA, New York.